Hey everybody, we are back in the kitchen. It is a Sunday afternoon. It's literally 100 degrees outside. Yeah, so that's why I'm inside on a Sunday afternoon, because it's too flippin' hot to be outside. So anyway, we are going to do a cilantro lime chicken. It's a great recipe, lots of flavor, very simple to come together. I'm not going to say the E word. We've got some fresh cilantro and lime right there that we're going to put on it. But first, I wanted to show you something, a little mini education on chicken. I've got a couple packages of our farm-raised chicken that we raised right out there, butchered back a couple months ago. And just wanted to show you something. So I'm going to turn this camera down and educate you. Hang on. Okay, that might be a little bit of a funky view, but these are leg quarters. The recipe actually calls for thighs, bone-in thighs, but leg quarters will work. Or you can do all chicken legs if that's what you prefer. We raise heritage birds. So if you see, hopefully you can pick it up in the camera, that little tiny black spot right there. I don't know if the camera's going to show it real good. There's another one right there. Those are from the feathers, where new feathers are growing, kind of, for lack of a better term, like a hair follicle. See, like this one, you see that little black right there? That's not anything wrong. That's where the chicken was about to grow a new feather. And see, you can just, I pulled that one out, no big deal. But the reason I wanted to show you that is, if you ever get heritage chicken, all right, let me turn this back up so y'all aren't staring at the sink. There we go. If you ever get heritage chicken from a local farm, you're going to see that. The chickens that are primarily raised today, and if you get it in the grocery store, it's all you're going to get. It's called a Cornish cross. And a lot of small farmers raise those as well because they were bred for the American appetite of chicken. Big breasts, small legs, they grow super fast in about 8 weeks, from chick to butcher in 8 weeks. Which, you know, if you're raising commercially, even on a small scale, and you're trying to turn over, you know, profit, blah, 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 all that can return on investment, blah, 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 economics junk. You want that. So the heritage birds that were all different colors, kind of like egg layers that are all different colors, have those little pin feather markings in the skin. And that's not appealing to people anymore. They are not used to seeing that. So it's like, ew, there's something wrong with my bird. That's the way chickens are supposed to be. The Cornish cross has been bred and bred and bred and bred for big breasts, fast growth. None of that showing, because they're solid white, and in a lot of cases don't even grow feathers. I know, it's gross. Most of them on their breast and under their underside, their belly, under their wings, they don't even have feathers. Everything about them is produce meat as fast as possible. That's just their genetics. So you don't have those little spots like what I just showed you, but I don't care. I mean, I want good quality meat. I want a good quality chicken. It takes mine about 11 to 12 weeks. So it's only 3 weeks, 4 weeks later. I mean, it's an extra month. And if you're counting feed cost and blah, 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 it's going to cost. But anyway, this is a cooking video, not a farming educational video. But I just wanted to share that with y'all because I was starting to get these out. And I saw them and I thought, oh, I need to tell people in case you didn't know. Other thing I will mention to you, I just decided to do this video a little while ago, and those things were frozen hard as a brick bat. So because I hadn't planned ahead, but I got some things going on when I normally film, and, you know, blah, blah, I had to change my schedule around. I went and got them out of the freezer, filled my sink full of hot water, and because these were in vacuum sealed packages, just dropped them down in there. Let them sit for 15, 20 minutes, drained the water, filled it up. And when I say filled, not fill the whole sink, but, you know, enough to cover the package. Another 15 minutes or so, and they're just as thawed as they can be. No microwaving, just hot water. And they're perfectly fine. They're ready to go, and we're about to cook and have dinner. Even though I didn't plan ahead, which is like one of my big fat no-nos. but I don't normally cook a meal on a Sunday night because we're usually outside working. So anyway, I am babbling up a storm. So let's move back over to the island so that I can show y'all the next step. Okay, so we're back in our normal position, which y'all used to seeing, but let me turn this down and I'll show you. We're gonna mix up some spices, a little coconut sugar. It's gonna go on top of the chicken. It's gonna roast for 30 minutes. Then we're gonna make a little kind of glaze, very simple. We'll do that while it's roasting in the oven. And then that goes on top of the chicken. It goes back in the oven for a little bit, and that's it. So this is a great recipe to do when you have other things you need to do in the evening. Because, I mean, it's going to go in 30 minutes, come out, you put the glaze on it, back in for another 20 covered, 10 uncovered. So that's another 30. That gives you an hour of other stuff you need to do, whether it's make the side dishes or help your child with your homework or his homework, her homework, whatever. So anyway, let me turn this down and I'll show you the spices that go on this. All right, so hopefully you can see what I got going on here. So the first thing we're gonna do is put a couple of tablespoons of coconut sugar. Now, y'all have heard me preach about coconut sugar in the past. It's my go-to. I love the flavor. I love the fact that it's not, you know, a high glycemic index impact. It's not super sweet. So I just like it a lot. If you use brown sugar, and you could, I would suggest cutting the sugar probably in half, because brown sugar is sweet and this isn't as sweet. So anyway, 2 tablespoons of coconut sugar. Then we're going to do 2 teaspoons of oregano. Get that in there. And then it's a teaspoon of basil. I should have these jars open just for time's sake. A teaspoon of smoked paprika. I love this stuff. It smells so yummy. And then a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper. So, super simple. Basic ingredient. Maybe oddball considered. Use my measuring spoon to mix this around because I don't want to wash any extra dishes. Okay, so just get this stirred up good. You just want all your herbs and spices mixed together real well. And let me move this over. And I've got my chicken in a pan that's a little bit bigger than, you know, I necessarily have to have. The reason being, I want there to be space and air movement around my chicken. You want it to roast and get kind of a nice, you know, crispy skin. If it's in here like this, then, you know, you're not going to get air around that, and it's going to more, even on a higher temperature, it almost come out more with a baked texture than a roasted texture. So that's why you want a little bit bigger dish than, you know, is really necessary as far as just the size of the meat. So we're going to get this all sprinkled on really good. Make sure you cover. You can, if you choose, flip it over and put some on the backside. I mean, it certainly makes enough to do that. Should have probably done the backside first, but, you know, why do that? Let's get a little over there. Sorry, I'm all sniffy today. I don't know what's going on with my head. All right, I'm going to flip these two. Oh my goodness, y'all, this smells amazing. This dish has so much flavor, all these spices and the herbs together. And then when we make the little kind of a glaze with the fresh cilantro and lime juice. I've only got 1 fresh lime in my refrigerator, like a goober. I don't know how I let myself get that low. So I have a bottle of organic lime. And if that one doesn't produce enough, then I will just top it off. Okay. So that's what you do. And then once you get that sprinkled on, you know, I usually kind of just press it in a little bit, make sure it's kind of, you know, just pushed into the skin some. And then it's going to go in the oven for 30 minutes. And while that's in there, we're going to make the little glaze that'll go on when it comes out after the 30 minutes. So hold tight. I'll be right back. Got to go wash my hands. Okay, so the chicken's in the oven. I'm going to make this glaze really quickly. And I just wanted to show you something on the cilantro. So for a dish like this, because this cilantro is going into kind of a, I don't know, an au jus glaze type, it's not really a gravy, it's not thick, sauce, then all you want's the leaves, because you don't want to be chomping down on that stem. I mean, even the little skinny stems, that's like, ugh, that would not be appealing. Now, if you're doing something that's going to go in the oven and bake for a while, then you can throw some of those stems in there. And I do it all the time. I mean, I judge what I'm going to use on cilantro based on how the type of cooking and the length of cooking. So like I have a Venezuelan beef recipe. Oh, we'll do that soon. It is to die for. And for it, I'll take like my bunch of cilantro, and I'll cut it right there and get these big stalks off, throw them in compost, and then take the rest and just chop it up, and in the pot it goes, because it's going to cook down. And so those thicker, well, you're not really getting the thicker end, but those kind of medium parts of the stem cook down with the roast, and it's food, and it's great, and it's flavor, and there's no reason not to include it. So just, you know, little tip there. And then I want to get, it's a 1/4 cup of fresh cilantro. So you're not just going to, you know, cram it in there, but you want to kind of pack it a little bit. And, you know, this is one of those things, if you like cilantro, I love cilantro, then do more. Now, I would kind of encourage you to probably cook it the first time. Well, that's kind of a scraggly stalk. Cook it the first time as the recipe calls for, but then adjust from there. I mean, if you just know you love a lot and you want to go for it, do you, you know. But I usually try to, if I find a new recipe I want to give a shot, I'll do it the first time the way it says and then make adjustments. So anyway, again, that's just me. So first thing we want to do is, I've got 2 tablespoons of butter in a skillet. You can use dairy-free. I've done it a million times. It works great. And then to that, we're going to add a couple of teaspoons of minced garlic. You know, our famous roasted minced garlic. And I think I just put my teaspoon over in the sink. I usually don't make y'all watch me do this, but I got so tied up in the cilantro, I didn't do it ahead of time. And I am pretty certain this, yeah, I'm calling it 2 teaspoons. Pretty certain that is. So you just want to kind of, when you're doing this, the tines of a fork work amazingly well. But if you only do that, then you can wind up with long pieces. So I kind of just go back and, you know, back across it like that. Look at this little cutting board. Is that cool? That was my grandmother's little butcher block. My grandfather put little feet on it. I love it. So we'll get our stove on. Move this back a little bit so I don't burn my tripod up. Grab a spoon. So we're going to melt our butter. And it was sitting here in the skillet, so it's already pretty soft. Add our garlic and just cook it for, you know, a minute-ish. And then we'll stir in, oh, don't you love that noise my refrigerator makes? Love it. We'll stir in some chicken stock, and I've got some bone broth that I thawed out. The same time I took the chicken out of the freezer, I took this 16 ounces of bone broth out and just set that container down in the sink with the packages of chicken. And it just thawed its little self right on up. So all that butter. Whew, we don't want to lose any butter. All right, so we're going to let this cook for, like I said, get the butter hot in a minute or two. And then we'll add the half a cup of chicken broth, half a cup of lime juice. So I'm going to go ahead and juice my lime real quick because it's not going to be a half cup. I'm sure of that, so I'll wind up having to make up the difference with the bottled lime juice, and that's fine. It'll work just fine. If I didn't have any limes, that's what I'd use. So I know I showed y'all this little contraption where you put the lime in here that way and then squeeze it. And it is the best little gadget that I have gotten because it sure makes juicing a lime, and then I've got that lemon one pretty easy. All right, I'm going to turn this down. Or turn it off. There we go. Dadgum, that smells good. Okay, so I know you can't see what I'm doing over here, but typically a lime is about 2 tablespoons, and that's what I got, because 2 tablespoons is half of a quarter cup, so 1/8 of a cup. And that's what's in there. So I'm going to top it off up to a half a cup with my bottled lime juice. Okay. This is a really, really good brand, Santa Cruz Organic. It's like squeezing your own. It's awesome. And then we're going to top this off with a half a cup of the chicken stock, or bone broth is what I've got. My onion is what is wrong with me? My garlic is just getting fragrant, starting to get a little brown. So now we're going to pour in the stock and the lime juice and our cilantro. And then this, we'll bring it up to a boil. So I'm going to turn our heat back up and let it get to a boil, and then turn it down and simmer it for about 5 minutes so that some of the liquid evaporates off and the flavors get more intense. And then we'll just turn it off and wait for the chicken to come out of the oven. That smells amazing. I mean, lime and garlic and lemon juice, or lime and garlic and chicken stock. I mean, good golly, this is good stuff right here. All right. So we'll let that come to a boil. I'll pause so y'all don't just sit here and watch that, because that's super exciting, isn't it? I'll come back when it's going. Okay, now we're boiling. I mean, it just took a couple of minutes. So I'm going to turn it down real low. If I can get it, there we go. Because we just want it to lightly simmer like that for 5 minutes. And like I said, it's just going to reduce down your liquid and give it, get it a little, it never gets thick, but it'll be a little thicker than it is now. And the flavor will be more intense. So I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes. And then when it goes off, I'll just cut this off and let it sit here on the stove until the chicken comes out of the oven, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so the chicken's out of the oven. It's been 30 minutes. Look at that. Y'all, I could eat that just right there. I mean, it's not quite done, but ugh, doesn't that look good? So now what we're going to do, see, it's going to have some juices in the bottom from the chicken and all the herbs and spices, and that's a good thing. Did I just move that where y'all can't see? Hopefully not. But anyway, so we're going to take our little glazed juice and just kind of pour it over. You know, if it'd be easier for you to pour this off into a little measuring cup and then pour it, then go for that. You know, you might be able to be a little more precise, but I ain't that worried about being precise. Get all our cilantro out of there. Okay. Oh, my gosh, I could pig out. So, now what we're going to do, after we pour our sauce over there, we're going to cover the chicken. And usually I will do this with my gloves on because I don't want to burn my fingers up. And you want to, you know how we talked about in other recipes, you want to seal it up because this step is keeping the steam in and finishing off cooking the meat. We'll do this for 20 minutes. Take it out, uncover it, put it back in for 10 to just kind of crisp up and finish the roasting. It's going to be good, y'all, so hang tight. Okay, this is it. Here we go. Cilantro lime chicken. When you serve it, make sure you get this au jus and kind of spoon it over because it makes it amazing. And I think I screwed up talking a minute ago. It's 15 minutes covered and 5 minutes uncovered. And I think I said 20 minutes covered. I was totaling it, so I'm not sure what that's all about. But anyway, the recipe is correct. So I don't know. But I cut into this one. It is done. Y'all, this is so good. You can serve it with rice and pour your little juice over it, or potatoes, or pasta, or like veggie noodles, you know, do some spiralized zucchini. All that is good. Another little tip, if you prefer a thicker, almost gravy as opposed to like an au jus like this is, then you can, when you're finished cooking the sauce, you know, that we did earlier, the cilantro, garlic, butter, chicken stock, and lime juice, add a little bit of arrowroot. Just probably, I'd say a couple teaspoons. You got to be real careful and whisk it really fast because it'll clump up when it gets wet if you don't. But you can sprinkle that in there, whisk it, and it's going to kind of not gel it. I mean, if you put too much, it'll turn into Jell-O, but it'll thicken it up. It's a great thing to thicken up gravies if you make gravy and you're like, oh crud, this is too watery. Or, like in this case, you have kind of a juicy, brothy liquid and you want something a little thicker that's going to stick to the meat and stick to whatever you serve it over. It's a great thing to do with that. So, just make sure it's arrowroot. Please do not use cornstarch. Cornstarch is garbage. It's genetically modified, unless you're buying organic, and that's hard to find. It's genetically modified, glyphosate, sprayed to death corn, and it's horrendous. It's so bad for you. Arrowroot is so much better. Does the same thing. So, there you go, boys and girls. Cilantro lime chicken, we're fixing to hog out on Middle Cross Farm. So, y'all have a beautiful afternoon. Give it a shot. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you here at the next video.